Ladies and gents, welcome back to Proclamation News and Gavance. It is the prodigious, prominent professor at PNG. It is Thursday, the 3rd of February 2022. That was a bit of a tongue twister there. Thursday, the 3rd of February 2022. I don't know if any of you lot noticed, I actually suffer with pronouncing my R's. It's kind of ironic. Not many people will probably notice, but if you listen carefully, you notice I struggle with my R's. But welcome to the show. Flux with the flow, flux with the show. Thank you all ever so much for coming through. Predominantly listening to modernisation of UK politics. For instance, we've got so much to get through, so many segments to get through. I really appreciate everyone coming through, supporting the show time and time again, staying both observed and preserved. You're part of the aristocracy social elite. Some people think, what am I doing here? But I get so many listeners from all different platforms coming in. Someone listening, engaging their brain. It's supporting people mentally, giving them something to listen to, educate themselves on. If it's environmentalism issues, industrialisation issues, population issues, could be anything, criminology issues, you name it, Proclamation News and Gavance, we claim it. So thank you ever so much for coming through. We can look at the car incidents inside the UK. So think safety, think first. Do not enter your vehicle under the influence of alcoholism, narcotics, sleep deprivation. Make sure your car is taxed, insured, MOT'd. Make sure you've got a driving licence. Check your PSI limits. Make sure you've got plenty sufficient air pressure in your tyres. Make sure your tyres not bulge. Your PSI limits on your side, your tyre treads. Check your engine oil, your water and coolant tank. Make sure it's topped up to maximum level. Check for further police actions. Further road safety signs. Check for roadworks. Drive vigilantly around roadworks. Check your centre mirror, wing mirror before turning, acting into a safe, sufficient directional choice. Make sure motorcyclists and motorists are not overtaken. Let's have a look on the instance today, ladies and gents. Make sure you plan your destination. Make sure you've got plenty sufficient fuel on board. What reason? Because weather instance, lane closed, road closure, congestion, roadworks, and car instance initially ahead of your journey, always. So plan your destination. Maybe you'll get to A to B in plenty of time to get your wife or your husband to hospital. It's important to plan your destination, of course. South of Malden, slow traffic due to early accident on Devon Road between B1 383 High Street and Ivy Todd Hill. The road was initially blocked 8:45 a.m. Roadblock accident, heavy traffic due to accident on A118 High Road both ways from Savile Road to Hallnaught Road. Road blocked at about 10:05 a.m. this morning. So literally like 25 minutes ago. Detour in operation for bus route 86. By the way, ladies and gents, I've had all 3 vaccinations and I have COVID. I've COVID. Just off of Luton, A1, one lane closed, clearing traffic for 4 miles due to a serious accident. 2 cars involved in the A1. Southbound from Junction 7, A607. Broad Hall Way, Stevenage South to Junction 6, A1000 Welland Bypass Road, Welland Garden City, congestion, Junction 8, Stevenage North. There's three reported incidents, all 3 accidents. A2, queuing traffic on A2 westbound from Blackheath roundabout to A2209, Deptford Church Street. Croydon, A2015, traffic signal failure on A2015 High Street at A222 Manor Road. Traffic is coping well. Approach with care. Think safety, think first, plan your destination. Greater Manchester Clean Air Zone. PM and Mayor clash over plans. A row has broken out over Greater Manchester's proposed scheme to cut emissions after the Prime Minister said it was completely unworkable. The planned Clean Air Zone, the CAZ, Clean Air Zone, could see some vehicles face daily charges. Speaking at Prime Minister's questions, Boris Johnson said the plan by the Labour Mayor would do damage to business and residents. However, Mayor Andy Burnham said he had never been the instigator nor the final decision maker in this scheme. CAZs are designed to encourage people to drive less polluting vehicles, including those powered by electric and more modern petrol and diesel. The government has been chilling on regional authorities to introduce CAZ since UK High Court, the Supreme Court ordered ministers in 2015 to take immediate action to cut air pollution. From the 30th of May, some vehicles in Greater Manchester, but not private cars, could be charged between £7.50 and £60 daily. Repeated concerns. Questioning Prime Minister earlier, the Conservatives MP for Lee, James Grundy, said the scheme was officially a congestion charge and a job-destroying tax. We all want clean air, but the model proposed by Mayor Burnham is unworkable and economically devastating, he added. Mr Johnson said such plans should not unjustly penalise, and it had become clear the scheme proposed by the Labour Mayor in Greater Manchester is completely unworkable and will do damage to businesses and residents in Manchester. We must find an alternative that doesn't punish local residents, he added. Responded, Mr Burnham said the CAZ plan was based on legal direction from the government requiring action by no later than 2024, and the nature of the direction and the tight timetable had shaped the proposal. By setting a compliance date of 2024 straight after a pandemic, it is his government's legal direction that is unworkable, he said. He said Greater Manchester leaders had repeatedly raised concerns about the level of funding being offered to help people upgrade vehicles. He added that he was not and had never been an instigator nor a final decision maker in the scheme, and the government had indicated it. Mr Burnham has already asked the Environment Secretary to delay full implementation of the scheme until 2027, which he said would provide the opportunity to make significant changes to allow supply chain issues and market conditions to stabilise whilst finding more effective ways to achieve compliance. Just going for a quick short break, ladies and gents, while I share these incidents on Twitter. Bear with me 2 seconds. We've still got a few more segments to get through, so just enjoy the show. Make sure you're listening. It's going to be great. What's ahead of us? We've got a bit of no business, like show business coming up, so stay tuned.
And decent like ski wear, salopettes and a goose down jacket, just to sort of
to wear at home.
Yeah, in home, and it just means that I can use it outside as well. It's like I can never really warm up on some days,
And yeah, I mean, I don't want to ask stupid questions, James. Do you know what I mean?
There are no stupid questions, James.
But what I mean, when you want to turn the heating on, you can, but you won't then be able to pay the bill at the end of the month.
I mean,
Or the
I haven't got to the point where I haven't been able to pay the bill at the end of the month. I've got, I collect records and books and things like that. So I have been selling stuff over the last, since lockdown, really, since my sort of profession was taken away from me.
Yes.
So I can sell a record, or I can sell, a book, an art book or something like that, just to sort of get by.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to, I haven't not been able to make the actual. But obviously, this is going to rise, and it's just getting worse. I mean, I have a bath every sort of 2 days, and just to get really warm and feel, good. So to get the marrow warm.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I mean about the gap. They talk about levelling up, but we've got the same name. We're similar age, are we?
Yeah, I'm 46.
No, you're a bit younger than me. We've got the same name.
They got the Madonna cassettes for Christmas. Remember those?
I do, yes, of course I do. Yeah. But I've got no grasp on what your life is like. And you listen to my radio show, so I'm just trying to point out that in many ways there are bridges between us, but your daily reality is almost beyond my comprehension. And you're in Manchester, not Mocha bloody Dishu.
Yeah, I mean, the rent in Manchester's incredible anyway nowadays. I mean, I've been in the same house for a long time, but
sure.
It's still a lot, and I'm living on my own now, so it's hard to make that.
What does I don't want to say the light at the end of the tunnel, because it's an unfortunate figure of speech in the circumstances, but I mean, I suppose seasons are very important, aren't they, in a way that, again, the rest of us won't really fully appreciate. When things start to warm up meteorologically, your life improves immeasurably.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Just getting out and doing a walk. I go bird watching and things as well. So I'll just take a good walk, get warmed up. Obviously, I've got my layers on and things, and it's not so much I'm sat in dread or anything like that. I try and sort of remain positive, but I guess there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just to get your head down and get on with it. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to ask everybody this question, but what do you look on as being the end of this? I mean, is there a point at which you think you'll be able to relax? And you'll be a bit warmer in summer, but you know that winter is coming.
I'm not sure. I try to be optimistic.
You have to be optimistic.
The state of the country as a whole is very depressing at the moment, and as far as heating and things like that go, I'll continue to try and make the cuts that I can. And as you say, it was warmer this morning when we got up, and it was milder, and summer's coming. But
it's not right. Is there any comfort in knowing how widespread the problem is? Because I did talk about shame at the top of the show, and I know you understand why I did that. Is there any comfort in knowing that there's millions of people in the same situation as you, or not?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, ironically, I deliver, food vouchers and fuel vouchers for families that need. Last month I was, had less money in my account than I was giving out to families that need it, and it did feel really shameful. I probably could have benefited from going to a food bank, certainly, but I felt very ashamed that I'd reached that point, and it's just because the wiggle room that I had last year or the year before, it isn't there anymore with the increase in fuel and food and other living costs.
And what goes up rarely comes down, although it may be that this turns out to be a bit of a blip in the bigger picture. But for the duration of that blip, you're on your toes, aren't you? You really are.
Yeah. And
in your onesies. Lisa, thank you. And make me a promise. Next time you ring me, let's do it on a more cheerful day. Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers.
Thank you. Take care, Lisa. 10:41 is the time. That's the ones that it's the clothes. It's the indoor clothes, isn't it? It's the onesies and the duvets and the salopettes and the indoor coat in the United Kingdom in 2022, when the ruling class is probably richer than it's been at any point in living memory. Bizarre. Although there was one royal expert yesterday talking about how the Duchess of Cambridge she's got a lot on her plate at the moment because she's had to assume some of the duties that were previously done by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So we all have our problems to deal with. Sarah's in Southampton. Sarah, what would you like to say?
Hi, James. So I work in child protection, and I come across lots of families who, as you can imagine, can't afford to heat their homes or feed their kids, and it's normally part of lots of other concerns by the time it gets to me. But what local authorities do is they step in, they give food bank vouchers, sometimes food parcels, and with these rising costs in heating.
We're going to pause that there, ladies and gents. We're going to get through these other segments. We're going to do a bit of no business, like show business, like I wanted to introduce to the show to make it a bit more interesting for the listeners. I haven't heard about Katie Price for a little while, so here we go. Katie Price unveiled Princess transform room after teen refused to stay at mucky mansion. Katie Price unveiled the staggering transformation of her daughter Princess's bedroom as she renovates her mucky mansion for a new Channel 4 series. The docu-series has focused on the former glamour model's efforts to overhaul her run-down Sussex family home, known as the Mucky Mansion, to its former glory after years of neglect and attacked by vandals. And after hard graft spent repainting old pieces of furniture and installing neon lights into the 14-year-old's Princess's room, Katie finally showed her daughter the complicated look in Wednesday's episode of the show. Katie repainted her bedside table sparkling gold and repurposed a toy chest that had been in Princess's room as a child, much to her daughter's amazement when she finally walked in. Walking in, Princess said, "I absolutely love my room. I'm actually really impressed with how it turned out. I'll tell you what, I didn't know Jordan had a daughter. She's actually she's a pretty young lady, obviously, teenage years. I never knew this. Never knew. How ironic is that?" However, the renovations of the infamous West Sussex came after reports Princess hated the house, and when Katie found out that they were not keen on visiting it, led her to being upset. Katie admitted to the camera that Princess did not want to stay in the 10-acre home, adding, "We've all got memories of the house, so I want to recreate everything and not have everything the same." Princess admitted on the programme that she had been unsure about returning, saying, "I didn't really like the house at the start. It was a dark house. There were just so many bad memories on it." Katie replied saying there was a lot of heartache, and Princess continued saying, "I didn't even want to walk on the driveway." The 14-year-old added, "Before, my mum's head was in a bad place, but now her head's in a good place. It's a lot better. I'm excited. I don't think we'd come here, to be honest." Katie Price said, "It's taken me a long time to like the house, and I look around and I don't know what else I could possibly do." A source previously told The Sun, while they were filming, Katie was upset to hear that Princess and Junior hate the house. Although she's also said she hates it, she really wants to turn the house around. She's redoing all the bedrooms to make it proper home again. Prior to the 3-part series, Katie said her home would no longer be the Mucky Mansion. After the extensive renovation, saying, "I'm making it a home." She's added, "I'm getting my hands dirty and doing a lot of work for myself, and with the help of amazing family and some brilliant friends, I'm putting the past behind me and rebuilding. My house is a bit like my life. It's being put back together, like I'm being put back together." Katie Price, when she got her makeup on, has her hair done, she looks very, very pretty still, I must admit. The star has made a number of documentaries before about her life, including Katie Price, My Crazy Life, and Katie Price, Harvey and Me, which followed Katie and her disabled son Harvey as he turned 18. Channel 4 promised fans it would see a different side of Katie in the new series, with show bosses saying, from designing the perfect bedroom for her children to overseeing a kitchen makeover, replacing chimney pots, we'll see Katie like never before, crafting, decorating and upcycling. We also see Katie as a mum, daughter and sister, as well as hearing about her journey to mental health as she discusses hitting rock bottom and accepting the need for help. Let's put it together, that woman has done magnificent. You can never put that woman down for what she's done, achieved in life. Absolutely not. Boris Johnson attacks new car tax changes, brand them disastrous and unworkable. There's been plenty of criticism Greater Manchester called the CAZ, this clean air zone, in recent weeks over the high charges of many drivers in the area. It comes months after the zone is meant to be introduced, with many finding it difficult to replace their current vehicles with the CAZ compliant ones, thanks to the global shortage of semiconductors. Representatives from the Greater Manchester 10 councils issued a letter to the Environment Secretary George Eustace, requesting he pause the second phase of Greater Manchester, the clean air zone, the CAZ funding. They called for a fundamental review of vehicle supply chain issues and requested that central government intervene. Speaking at Prime Minister's question today, James Grundy, MP for Lee in Greater Manchester, asked Boris Johnson whether the government would be involved in the continuous issue. He has then said Greater Manchester Memorial Clean Air Zone scheme is effectively a congestion charge, affecting all 500 square miles of Greater Manchester, including constituency of Lee. It's a job destroying tax and on ordinary workers. We all want clean air, but the model proposed by Mayor Burnham is unworkable and economically devastating, with charge of £60 per day per lorry driver, taxis, white van men, and even buses will be caught up by it. While the PM intervened to prevent Mayor Burnham from inflicting a disastrous Labour scheme on Greater Manchester, his speech was met with cheers from those on the Conservative benches, with cries of typical Labour and audible gasps at the charges being handed onto drivers. Mr Grundy represents Lee, the former constituency of current Mayor Andy Burnham, who stepped down from the role in 2015. In response to the question, Prime Minister Boris Johnson reaffirmed plans to look into Manchester's CAZ. He added, "I know from my own experience how vital it is when you're trying to clean up a great city. You do not penalise businesses, in particular small businesses. It has become clear that the scheme proposed by a Labour Mayor in Manchester has become completely unworkable. We must find an alternative. One that doesn't punish local residents. And my right honourable friend, the Secretary of State for the Environment, George Eustace, will be saying more about this in the coming days." This comes after a number of protests have been held to publicly criticise the plans and call for more action to be taken. A group of 100 van and lorry drivers took the M60 for a go slow protest, where they held up traffic for 2 hours to raise awareness of the charges they face. If the CAZ goes ahead as planned, it will be introduced from May 30, 2022, with higher polluting taxes, private hire vehicles being charged £7.50 per day, although most Greater Manchester licensed vehicles have a temporary exemption until 2023. Van and misuse will be charged £10 per day, but from 2023, and buses, HGV and coaches will set costs of £60 per day starting at the end of May. If the daily charge of non-compliant vehicle is not paid, there will be a liability to pay a penalty charge, notice PCN, of £120 in addition to unpaid charge. This can be reduced to £60 if paid within 14 days. It's crazy, isn't it? Madness set upon the horizon. Just have a quick short break. I need to pop to the gentleman's room.
And as you say, it comes down to heating or eating. But it can either go one of two ways. If local authorities are having to support more families on the same budget they already have with food bank vouchers, then the families that are really in the worst positions are going to be missing out on crucial support.
Yeah.
Or they simply won't be able to offer help to those families that are in the middle, those families that are working but missing out on being able to apply for benefits or missing out on free school meals for their kids. Those families that are on the breadline but working, so not entitled to any other support, they're not going to be getting anything either. So it's going to increase, I think, the number of families that I end up seeing in these really dire situations where they really are having to choose between eating or reaping.
The thing is, and again, it's perhaps part of the difference between experience and empathy. The thing is, if we're talking about quids making a difference to people, you know, then the numbers that are being touted with regard to the energy prices are actually enormous. And so, of course, you're going to see a lot more people. I don't know if this is an appropriate question, but on the other side of your work, in child protection, you will no doubt often be involved in children being taken away from their families.
Yeah.
Does poverty play a big part in that? Does fuel poverty ever impact upon those sort of proceedings?
Absolutely, and it's a real shame because it's a huge driving factor. I really see the worst of society, you know, the poorest families, and it can be for a number of reasons. So it can be for poor lifestyle choices, you know, cycles of abuse that have continued down generations. It can be for any reason, but this is not going to help those situations, and people who are already in those awful situations are just going to find it so much worse, and there's not the support for the local authorities. You know, we've had these levelling up proposals. There's no further financial support that's being proposed for local authorities. So how are they going to meet the gaps to actually help people through this and to, you know, keep families together? Because that's the aim.
And that is terrifying, because any parent will be able to conceive of not being able to keep their children warm and then possibly falling foul of social services or the authorities, in part because of that inability to keep your family warm. Sarah, thanks for everything you do. I think your profession really are unsung heroes and heroines, and you only ever end up in the media when something goes awfully and tragically wrong. But I know that many people like you, not as many as there should be, but many people like you are out there every day chipping away at this enormous edifice of suffering, and often little or no thanks. 10:45 is the time. We'll get to the bottom, or at least we'll try to get to the bottom of this unfolding situation in Northern Ireland next.
LBC.
You're through to LBC. What would you like to say?
Hi there, long-time listener. First time I've called in.
Well, it's about time.
It is about time. You touched on a touchy subject there.
Your story, Dean. Good morning.
The only thing for me to do is turn off all my meetings.
Right, let's go to your calls.
I've never run a radio station before, but I'm so motivated to ring you this evening.
Presumably food as well is starting to look pricier, is it?
Sometimes I walk into a supermarket, walk around and walk out. The contempt with which this government holds the people of the UK.
LBC listeners, I take your calls. And what I say, I want to say to you.
Compared to 12 months ago, how much worse are things now?
There are reasons why I don't eat.
So all I have is my radio and LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
Turn everyday business purchases into the trip of a lifetime with the British Airways American Express Accelerating Business Card. You'll earn 1.5 Avios for every £1 you spend, and for a limited time, you'll receive 45,000 Avios when you spend £5,000 in the first 3 months of card membership. Apply today and check out the world.
Representative 96.7% APR variable. 18 plus UK's only, subject to approval. Offer valid between 18th of January and 28th of February 2022. Terms apply.
It's estimated that 1 in 10 children will experience sexual abuse before they turn 16. That's equivalent to 3 in every classroom. Most children won't tell anyone at the time. But there are signs to look out for. Has your child become more withdrawn or started acting differently? They could be trying to tell you something's wrong. To learn more about the signs and find further support, visit stopabusetogether.campaign.gov.uk.
Help. Every now and then I feel so insecure.
Help me if you can.
I'm feeling down.
Help me get my feet back on the ground.
We all need some help sometimes.
Feelings of anxiety and depression
Can affect anyone.
And the NHS is here to help. If you need help with your mental health, you can refer yourself, or your GP can refer you. Let us help you get your feet back on the ground. Go to nhs.uk/help.
A few too many? Lots of us are feeling it. Those extra pounds adding extra strain to our bodies. Now's the time to get things started, one way or another.
One way or another.
To shop smarter, eat better, and move more.
One way or another.
Getting started is easier than you think. For free tips and tools to lose weight, search Better Health.
Let's do this.
For the Many, my podcast with the former Labour Home Secretary Jackie Smith. Join us as we untangle the world of politics, media and entertainment. Listen now.
As millions held their breath, humanity takes its first steps on the moon. In your lifetime, you've witnessed science fiction become reality. It's now possible for everyone to have the internet in their pocket.
Those have successfully transplanted a human heart.
Ladies and gents, we come up to the last segment of the show. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to Proclamation News and Gavins. Even share it with your friends. I really appreciate more consumers coming in, occupants coming into Proclamation News and Gavins. It's nice to share the news together. Rather than reading, you listen in. You can be doing your housework, you can be laying in bed, just relaxing. I can tell you what's ahead. Anyway. Tennyson Road murder victim named. Bear with me 2 seconds. Hello. Yeah, what's this regarding, please?
Hi, good morning, sir. This is Sean. I'm calling you from Prestige Funeral Department. How are you doing today?
Tennyson Road murder victim named as police charge man with Chelmsford killing. Police were called shortly after 4 p.m. to reports of a disturbance at an address in Tennyson Road. 4 p.m. Wow. The victim of alleged murder in Chelmsford has been named as 19-year-old Ashley Wadsworth. It comes as a man been charged with murder following her death on Tuesday, February the 1st. Police were called shortly after 4 p.m. to reports of disturbance at address Tennyson Road. Despite the efforts of paramedics, Ashley was sadly pronounced dead at the scene. Essex Police have now revealed she was from Vernon, British Columbia, Canada. Jack Seppel, 23, was arrested at the scene and has since been charged with her murder. He will appear at Colchester Magistrates Court today, February 3rd. Police continue to ask if you have any information. You can submit a report online. You can please quote the crime incident 717 on February the 1st, or you can contact Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111. Horrific incident, horrific news. That is pretty local to me as well. Within about 10 miles. It's tragic, absolutely tragic. But anyway, ladies and gents, I want to say thank you for coming in, listening to Proclamation News and Gavins time and time again. I love you and leave you all. I've got to get on my day. Hope you have a blessed day, all of you. Take care, one love, and speak soon.